Jules Sylvester. I'm here in Kenya, on the banks of the Maasai Mara River, home of one of the most powerful predators in the world, the Nile crocodile. In fact, there's one right down here below me.
Look at him go. 20 feet long and a ton of raw power. These awesome predators have thrived for several 100 million years. But in recent times, they've come into conflict with man. I'm off around the world to see how people actually deal with it. My journey starts beside the Maasai Mara River in Kenya, where I grew up and where I first became fascinated by big crocodiles. My sister was almost taken by a croc along here when we were kids, and most of the locals have similar stories to tell. The Nile croc kills more people here than any other predator. When your life revolves around the river, croc attacks are just a fact of life. But imagine doing your washing with these guys just a few feet away. Cattle are driven down here too. It's good pasture. But there's a price to be paid for the lush grass. What's really unbelievable is that some people walk across this river every day. This man's one of them. See how this compares to your journey to work.
There's crocodiles. Well, this guy here has to cross this river twice a day. He really has to, otherwise it's 10 miles there and 10 miles back just to get across the river. It's just not feasible. A little nerve-wracking.
He didn't get us this time, but it's no joke.
Crocodile bite. Yeah, another. Now, Papa, too. He was in the water here about 5 years ago, and he got bitten by about a 7-foot croc. Came out of the water and tried to bite his head. The water was this deep. He put his arm in the way and he took off his flip-flop and smacked it a few times. It let go. He's very lucky. More of a man than I could ever be. I had 20.
This place is alive with crocs, but when they take people, it's nothing personal. The riverbank is their territory, and anything that goes near the water is fair game. The Great Croc Trail would take us right across the world to see how different crocodiles cope with living alongside humans and how we cope with them. Our next stop couldn't be more different. Southern India and the busy city center of Madras. I'm on my way to the bank, but it's not what you're thinking. It's the Madras Crocodile Bank, home to 4,000 crocs. Feeding time here is something I've got to see. And even better, I've been invited to help dish up. Feeding time, boys and girls. Come and get it. Indian mugger crocodiles. They were hunted almost to extinction in the wild, but as you can see, the crop bank's doing a great job breeding them up again. Muggers are much smaller than Nile crocodiles, but they're still seen as man-eaters here. That's why they were almost wiped out.
You hear that cracking? Crunch. Oh, that would hurt. It's the last place you want to fall into, huh?
People are so frightened of muggers that at the moment the Croc Bank isn't allowed to release them in the wild. As things stand, the overcrowding here can only get worse. Poor souls. Nobody knows what's going to happen to them. They could be stuck in this enclosure for the rest of their lives. This is where the muggers' problem started. Just as in Kenya, the river is very important here. People bathe in it, and it's also the center of their spiritual life. They even cremate their dead at the water's edge, which is partly how the mugger got its gruesome reputation. Fishermen found human remains in the stomachs of muggers picked up in their nets. They assumed the crocs were killing people, when in fact they were eating remains washed away from funeral pyres. But that's not the only reason muggers are in crisis. Outside the city, the land has been taken over by paddy fields, and the few muggers that still live there are very unwelcome. I'm off to see one that was trapped a few weeks ago. Perhaps we can move it somewhere safe. I've teamed up with a group of local conservationists. Several years ago, they set up a project to help the mugger, and they're doing a great job to help it hang on in the wild. They've even got the forestry department on their side.
That's it, yeah. And this.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, my.
It's about 1.5 feet deep, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to swim.
And there's a croc in there.
Yeah.
Well, this should be fun. We've got a 6-foot mugger crocodile in a well. This is a first. The only way to get him out is to go in there and grab him, I think. Oh, it's not that deep anyway, is it? Okay. You come round there and step onto that tank.
It turns out the local priest rescued the mugger from the trap and put it in his well for safekeeping. Good idea, but it doesn't make life easy for us.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
It's not going to be an easy catch.
No.
Okay, here we go, once more.
Got it? No. Ek body na?
There he is. Got him. Straight up, straight up. Go, 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 go. Get him up, mind your legs. Okay. Keep it straight, keep it straight, keep it straight. Keep it straight. Okay, I got him, I got him, I got him. Okay, relax, relax, relax. Grab the tail. Keep him straight. Keep him straight. There we go. You've got it. Okay, there we go. He's mine. Okay, sweetheart. Just relax.
Just get the second time.
Just relax. Watch your teeth, though, because watch your fingers, not your teeth. Watch his teeth. Okay, let's get this rope off. Use a stick, not your hand.
He's pretty riled, and who can blame him? Especially with me on his back. The best way to calm him down is to cover his eyes and tape his mouth shut. Just got to keep his nostrils clear so he can breathe.
Watch the nose. He's got to breathe through that bit. There we are. Apparently the pastor or the monk here rescued it from somebody who was going to kill it. So we're going to give him to the forestry department. They're going to take him back into the bush, and we're going to let him go. You want to give him a name?
Croc.
Doc?
Rock.
Croc, Rock.
Rock. His name's Rock.
His name is Rock.
Rock. Okay, Rock, let's go. Look at that. And tally-ho. He's a beauty, yeah. It's kind of nice to be releasing these guys back in the wild. I mean, this guy saved his life. I'm going to put him back in some decent environment. Okay, Harvey, can you hop up there? Yeah.
It's been a great chance to give the team my tips on handling crocs. That way they keep their fingers and the croc is stressed as little as possible. This is going to be our croc's new home, the estuary of the Kambajua River on the coast of Goa. Like all estuaries, it's a breeding ground for fish, which makes it a great place for fish eaters too. Most importantly, it's a protected area, and one of the very few places in India where you can still see mugger crocodiles in the wild.
Why don't you hop out and I'll pass her over. Let's take her down there, if we can. Getting heavier. You got her? Okay. Okay. Oh, that felt good. I love mud in the morning.
She's gonna love it here, and that's what counts.
Bring it around. Okay. And this whole area here, this is a crocodile protected zone, so there's no more building around the area. There's 15 kilometers, and there's about 30, maybe a few more, 30 adults and some babies, and that's all there is of mugger crocodiles in this area. And at least these two guys are taking care of them. They do come up here and check on them every now and again, which is quite positive. So should we cut this guy free? There we go. Okay, she's ready. Okay, if you guys step back and take that stuff with you. Don't get stuck ever in front of a crocodile. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Off you go. There you go. Born free.
As part of their campaign to improve the mugger's image, the conservation team has started bringing tourists here to see them. If local people see the crocs as a resource rather than a threat, they're much more likely to leave them alone. Time to leave India, and where we're going next, the mugger will seem like small fry. Northern Australia, home to the Indo-Pacific or saltwater croc. The biggest crocodile in the world.
Australia is a vast country with very few people, but they have a huge population of crocodiles, and the best way to spot these guys is from the air. Let's check this out. This should be really exciting.
We're going to fly over the Mary River near Darwin. The pilot tells me it's crawling with crocs. So let's see for ourselves. This is a croc lover's paradise. One reason there are so many crocs here is the number of fish. Big fish. These two are feasting on a barramundi. But just like their African cousins, they'll take cattle too, and Skippy's mincemeat if he gets too near the water. This is the highest concentration of the largest crocodiles in the world, the saltwater crocs. I mean, right down there, there's 1, 2, 3. There's like 7 in a 100-yard space. That's really unusual. Now, what you don't want to do is fall in the water with these guys, because you're toast. So let's go and get a little closer. I wouldn't dream of doing this without a local expert. Charlie Gask has been bringing people up here for 15 years. He's still in one piece, so he's got to know what he's doing. It's early morning, the best time of day for croc spotting. Crocs are cold-blooded and they can't control their own body temperature. Once the sun gets too hot, they'll have to stay in the water, out of sight. They look too lazy to move, but don't let that fool you. It's not often I turn my back on something that big with that many teeth. You know? I'm watching your eyes. If your eyes get big, I'm jumping in your lap.
Yeah, no, I'm watching over your shoulder there.
Listen, you were here, what, 1960s?
62.
There were lots of crocs then?
There were none. You know, you would not see a croc. You know, they were shot commercially up until about 74, I think.
So the past 15 years, the population has just...
It's rocketed. Yeah.
I've never seen so many crocs in my life. I mean, just coming from the jetty down there to about here, I mean, it's counted over 50. Big crocs, not little ones.
Yeah, they'd be right.
So what is it? This is where they train the Australian swimming team?
Yeah.
Is it the last ones that get nabbed or the first ones?
Well, they're not too sure, you know, so definitely the last ones, but they reckon it's better to be in the middle.
When crocodile hunting was banned 25 years ago, the saltwater crocodile was on the edge of extinction. It's made an amazing comeback. There are now 75,000 salties in the Northern Territory. But local people aren't always thrilled about that. Every year, someone gets attacked, yet there are warning signs all over the place. So why does it go on happening? Here's part of the problem. The water's edge is the crocodile's hunting ground, but it's where people go to relax. Just look at this. That croc may look dozy now, but it could strike like lightning. Enjoy your beer, mate. It might be your last.
The Penqui family, Peter and Lena, and their son were on a hunting and camping holiday when a 4-metre crocodile entered their tent. Trying to drag Mrs. Penqui to the river, the croc lacerated her chest and liver. She's now in intensive care in Darwin.
People have been saying for the past 6 months it has to happen. Someone will get taken by a croc. They're getting too big and too aggressive.
The searchers discovered 2 human legs in the river near the men's campsite. Conservation Commission rangers then began their hunt for the suspected killer croc in earnest, and in the small hours of Thursday morning they caught and killed a 4.5-metre monster.
Snappy things, these 14-foot man-eaters. This one in particular had been threatening a local beach for 3 weeks.
Beautiful Darwin Harbour is a seething nest of crocodiles. In the last year, 200 of the feared saltwater crocs have been pulled out of the busy waterway, and they've never been bigger. In Darwin, Percy Chamberlain, 10 News.
Croc attacks are most common during the breeding season, when a big male will set up his territory and see off anything, or anyone, that might interfere with his females. He could be 23 feet long and pack 2,200 pounds. You don't want to argue with that. An intruder has been spotted, a younger male. Raising his snout to show he's not looking for a fight, he beats a hasty retreat. But the big male is right on his tail. The youngster may be forced right out of the river system to the sea. During the breeding season, lots of these refugees end up cruising Darwin Harbour. It's a major hassle for the National Parks and Wildlife Service because the harbour is really popular for boating and fishing. Even a half-grown salty can be very dangerous, and the numbers have to be kept within certain limits. I've come out with the local ranger, Neville Haskins. He removes about 4 crocs a week, but because of the tides, he can only work at certain times of the day.
This is high tide right now.
Not quite. Another hour. Which is better for us. We don't want to get stuck up here on a low tide.
We don't want that. I got one lemonade between us.
No women. Anything in the trap around the corner?
No trap.
Yeah. Empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks empty, but you can never be too careful. There could be a croc nearby.
Okay.
Got it? Yep. This is a terrific crocodile trap. It's 5 meters long, about 1.5 meters wide, and this bolt is heavily greased, and this trapdoor is sitting on top of it. Now you notice there's a line all the way to the back, which is attached to a dead chicken inside the box. Now what happens, the croc will swim right in here, grab that chicken, give it a yank, and guess what happens to the door? He's inside, he's going to stay there, he can float around, he's got lunch to eat, he's got water to drink, and he'll wait there till we come around and pick him up. The crocs are keeping a low profile, but you never miss these.
Fruit bats? Fruit bats.
Oh, I see, there's a couple of them. Oh, the noise. Sounds like birds, man. You should see this. They got a wingspan of about 3 feet. 4 feet. When there's hundreds here. These are now protected, right?
They're protected species.
But they taste great.
Apparently.
Can't fool this man. It's getting late now. We've checked nearly all the traps.
There's a trap there. Gates down.
Now this looks hopeful. Don't bite your fingers.
Can you see him?
Oh, check this out. You've got to have a look at this. Come and have a look. We have a croc. This one's about 6 feet long, just a youngster, but big enough to do us some serious damage.
Oh no, don't do that. Come on. Don't do that.
I'll be down here then.
All right. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, here we go. Yep.
Okay, Nev.
All right, just pull it right through now when you're ready. All right. Just hold her out there and I'll climb on board again in a minute.
She's got a nice pair of choppers.
Lift her up.
Yeah.
Make sure she's not going to touch anything. You can rest it here if you want.
I'm actually fine.
Yeah. Close it and then tape it, okay?
All right. You all right?
Oh, she got me.
Did you? Did you break it? I think what Nev is trying to say is, gosh, that hurt.
Oh, okay.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
She got you between the bar and her head, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Did you break it?
Nah. Just some feeling starting to come back. You're going to have to do the rest, though.
Okay.
Now the tape. You're going to have to do that portion by yourself if you can. I'll give you a hand to lift her up. We're going to have to lift it right here.
Yeah, I got it.
Right. Grab a foot.
Okay,
yep.
got it.
Back. Okay, get straight down on the deck.
Okay, got it.
Down there. You hold it there.
How's your hand, Nev?
It's move. I can move it.
Look. Didn't break it.
That's
Can you
good.
still hitchhike?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Might be slightly dislocated on that joint there.
I don't know about you, but this is just a 6-foot saltwater croc. If you even think about catching a 14-footer by yourself, even with just 2 people, you've got a world of hurt. And this is just a young one. This is not even fully mature, nowhere near it. It's not even breeding age yet. And you can do that much damage. They're extremely violent. They have like this tremendous burst of energy and then nothing. And then another tremendous burst of energy. I'll beat anything you can even prepare for. So, you're lucky it didn't break his thumb. Very lucky. Yeah, I think so. Most of the crocs that Nev catches go to farms, end up as handbags or shoes. But this one's going to be part of a brand new research project to find out more about the movements of crocodiles in the area. Early next morning, we're off to release our croc out at sea. We want to know if he'll head up the coast to another river system, or whether his homing instinct will take him straight back into trouble in Darwin Harbour. He's been fitted with a radio transmitter embedded in putty.
Let's get this off.
Englishman Adam Britton's in charge. The transmitter will help him track the croc's every movement for the next 2 months. Nobody's ever tried to do this before. Just keep our eyes covered there, I guess.
Okay, let's lift him up.
1, 2, 3, up.
Now, if you get in the water...
Remember the rules. Never bite the crocodile handler. Somehow I don't think he's listening. I'm in the crocodile. Okay.
You got him?
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, good. I'm coming in.
When I release him, there are 2 things he can do. 1, swim away from me. 2, swim at me. Easy to work out those odds.
Not every day you get to see with a crocodile. Back to back. I'm afraid, right? Well, it's gone in, I think.
I mean, you can... We can release the crocodiles if you want.
That's it,
He's not very happy with his excess baggage, but it's going to provide vital information. It might help Adam sort out the crocodile problem in Darwin Harbour. Once Adam's got the information he needs, he'll track down the croc and remove his backpack. It's time we got out of here too. Hold tight for the next stop on the Great Croc Trail. We're off to the other side of the world, to America. While Australians cope with saltwater crocs, the residents of Florida share their space with the crocodile's close relative, the alligator. This is the alligator's stronghold, the Florida Everglades, south of Miami. All around Miami, the wetlands have been drained for housing, but the alligators were here first, and they're not leaving town. Tarmac makes a great place to bask. And to cool off, why not hang out by the pool? When they get too close for comfort, it's time to call the Gator Busters. Today I'm riding with Todd Hardwick on Pesky Critters.
Is it the canals that bring the alligators in?
Without a doubt, the canals are definitely part of the problem. We built this network of canals to keep Miami dry and keep us from flooding, but at the same time, we created a freeway system for the alligators to come from the Everglades out west right into town. And then they crisscross all through the communities looking to establish their own territory.
So you get this, humans and alligators, and that's when the problem starts,
We got alligators and humans right smack on top of each other now, and it's kind of sad because the alligators were the ones that were here first. We're draining the swamps and we're building these houses, and then the people complain that there's an alligator.
Like in Australia, the problem gets worse in the breeding season, when males are all pumped up to fight over the females. To attract a mate, a mature male bellows. It's a sound so loud and deep that his lungs vibrate, and so does the water around him. He's the Barry White of the crocodile world. But sometimes the males have to fight for a mate, and then it's the survival of the fittest. There's always a loser, and now he'll have to find somewhere else to live. That's often when alligators end up crossing paths with people.
There they are. Did y'all call about an alligator? Okay. How big is this alligator?
He's huge.
Somebody watching him?
My daughters are watching him back by the pool.
Thanks.
Come on, guys.
All right.
Lead the way.
Show him where it is. He's still there? Where? Oh my God, look at him.
Tell you what, why don't you guys back up a little for us? Oh, that's only 6 foot. That's not that big. Pole, can we borrow your pool pole?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Now, he might bite it. That'd be all right?
Just get him out of there.
Probably walked over from the canal. They really move around this time of year.
I think that's where he came from.
We get this all the time. He doesn't know this is your swimming pool. He's just looking for a wet spot.
Get him back in the
Yeah, let's try to work him into the shallow end.
Let me catch up with you there.
This guy's gonna work us all over the place.
Yeah.
If you get him first, brace your legs because he'll try to pull you in the pool head first.
Okay. Got him. Good catch. Got him.
That deck may get
A little
slippery.
further out, yeah. Got him?
Yeah. Good job.
Atta boy. Alrighty.
A little tape and we'll have him secured.
Rule of thumb is, put lots and lots of tape around his jaw, and when you think you've got enough, add 2 more wraps, just in case. You have the right to remain silent.
It's a nice animal. He's been eating something around here.
It's okay, big boy. A dog? No.
You missing a
How
dog?
big a dog was he? Was he a big dog?
Uh-oh, could be an ex-dog. He's
See
mine
you later,
now.
alligator.
Walkies. I said he's mine.
Bye-bye, guys. Remember, look in the pool before you jump in.
Good boy. One relocated alligator. Whew. Just like Australians with their saltwater crocs, the residents of Miami are starting to see a brighter side to having alligators around. Once you get downtown, it's not hard to work out what that is. Alligator leather is in huge demand all over the world, and farming it here is big business. But without wild alligators, the industry would collapse. Alligators don't breed well in farms because the females like to be on their own when they lay their eggs. To keep the farms going, eggs have to be collected from the wild. What I want to know is, does taking the eggs like this damage the wild population? The Florida Wildlife Service is in charge of the operation, and I've teamed up with Ranger Lindsay Horde to see for myself. Spotting a nest down here is like searching for a needle in a haystack, so we're guided by an eye in the sky. This is a 7-foot female alligator. She's dug a guard pool all the way around, and this is her nest. This is like a moat. And she's very vocal, very aggressive. And she laid about 30 to 40 eggs in this vegetation nest here. It's like an incubator. And if we go any closer, she's very liable to take a shot at us, which is what she does. That's her job. She's a good mother. Atta girl.
Get on back there and don't try to bite me.
Yeah.
Come on now. There you go.
That's it.
Back up a little bit. Come on.
Just checking the eggs. Just checking.
There we go.
Atta girl. Good girl. All right.
Careful with sawgrass. Will cut your fingers. Okay. Feels on here.
All right. I got it. Okay. You watch her and I'll dig the eggs up. That's it. That's not me. That's the stick. Good girl. You just keep doing a good job. What effect will it have on the population of this area by us taking these eggs?
Absolutely none. We've got some research that documents that the 50% collection of good nests has no impact.
Look at that. Perfect alligator egg. Lindsay tells me that more than 98% of babies are eaten by predators soon after hatching. Taking half the eggs won't make any difference to the overall survival rate. Now you can't turn these eggs. You have to keep them exactly upright, and that goes with all reptile eggs. If you turn them, they die. So we mark them. Mark on top. There we are, well marked. Yeah, Lindsay. Yeah.
Whoops.
Only 2,500 eggs are collected each year, and from what I've seen and heard, I'm convinced it's not denting numbers in the wild at all. See you later, alligator. Have a nice day. There are tens of thousands of alligators living in the Everglades, and most of them never come face to face with a human. This is another protective mother. She's been guarding her nest for about 2 months now, and her eggs are about to hatch. Deep in the nest, the hatchlings are calling. It's a signal she's been waiting for, and she's ready to help them out. She carefully scrapes away the vegetation to get to the hatchlings. First out and ready to hitch a lift to the water in its mother's gentle jaws. Others start to make their own way there. At this stage, the bite-sized babies are extremely vulnerable. They regroup with mother as quickly as possible, and for the next few weeks she'll try to protect them from predators. They have to feed themselves right from the start. Fortunately, they're natural-born killers. The babies can't afford to get overconfident. Away from mother, the world is a dangerous place. Most of the hatchlings will only survive a few weeks. Just 1 out of 30 or 40 will grow big enough to turn the tables. But the great thing is, that's enough to keep the American alligator afloat. Everybody's heard of the American alligator, but did you know there are also crocodiles here? And in the last place you'd ever look, Turkey Point Nuclear Power Station just outside Miami. Like their Australian cousins, American crocs were almost hunted to extinction. But this place is off limits to humans. It's a perfect refuge for the crocs. Hi Joe, it's Jules Sylvester here. What a weird landscape for a nature reserve. I'm just here for the boat ride. Not really. It's to meet Joe Wozolewski. It's his job to keep a check on the health and the size of this vital croc population. These are cooling channels for the nuclear power plant. A great place for the American crocodile. Warm brackish water, a huge food supply, and most important of all, very little interference from humans. Thanks to a healthy fear of hunters, American crocs are notoriously shy. It's rare to catch a glimpse of one in daylight, and that makes it hard for Joe to keep a track of their numbers. But one good way is to check the females' nests and count the empty eggshells.
She came right up here, as you could see. Look it's like a moon crater.
Check that out.
This incredible?
Look at these eggs. I got 1, 2. I got 4.
All right, wait. I've got 10.
Where's the female? I mean, she left this. Is she around?
She's here somewhere, but the boat probably scared her.
Yeah.
They're very shy. You're not in any danger.
Well, that's good, because we'll have to be as faster than you. Yeah, I got my running shoes on. I can run like hell. Watch this. 14 eggshells left at the nest, but what we really want to see is what came out of them. For that, we'll have to go out at night. Crocs are much easier to spot at night. Apart from the fact they're much more active then, their eyes shine in the dark.
Joe thinks the mother will have taken her babies to a sheltered spot. That gives them the best chance of hiding from predators, including other crocodiles.
I don't see him, I don't see him.
It's about here, it's about here.
There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. You got him?
Got him.
Okay.
Got one.
Wait, I saw maybe another one.
My first American croc. Oh, first small
Well, here's your second one.
Oh, goody.
John, just turn us in, turn us in. Right, you see him? Right there. Grab him. Okay, 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 good, good, good. I'll kick you out.
Beautiful.
13.7.
Mm-hmm.
Look at there, Jules, 67 grams.
By checking the size and the weight of the hatchlings, Joe can make sure they're healthy. And tagging by microchip is the best way to follow their progress. That way, when Joe checks the adults, he can tell how old they are and where they were born.
I know.
But I'll do it kind of quick. Let's scan him.
115229570A. That's your number. There you go. Go on, mate. Off you go. Go on. There you go.
Let's hope the American croc makes a comeback as dramatic as his Australian cousins. Great to see crocodiles and alligators thriving, but I've saved the best till last. It's back to Kenya to show you the most incredible croc action on Earth. I'm on the banks of the Mara River. The Maasai Mara is over there. The Serengeti is over there. Now, this is the site of the world's greatest migration. It's also the site of nature's most dramatic ambushes. Hundreds of thousands of wildebeest are heading this way. It's their annual migration, and the crocodiles are waiting for them. The river stands right in the wildebeest path, and they've got to cross it. When they arrive, they're so desperate to drink, they seem blissfully unaware of the danger. There's no escape. The other wildebeest make a run for it. Through sheer weight of numbers, most make it safely to the other side. There's no better demonstration of a crocodile's power, and no better end to the Great Croc Trail. Right across the world, people are learning to live alongside crocodiles and alligators. But you know what I think? Crocs are survivors. They were here before we arrived, and they'll be here way after we've gone.